The next morning, my phone rang. Unknown number. Again. For a moment, I considered ignoring it. Then I answered. Hello? The voice on the other end was familiar. It was the elderly man who had called me days earlier. The same man who said my father knew this would happen. Before I could ask any questions, he spoke. Your father left something with me. My heart nearly stopped. What? A recording. For several seconds, I couldn't breathe. A recording. My father was gone, yet somehow he had left behind a message. Who are you? I asked. My name is Joseph. The man paused. I was your father's accountant for 20 years. I drove straight to meet with Joseph. Within an hour, I was sitting across from him. Joseph looked exhausted, like a man who had carried a burden for too long. Then he opened a small metal box. Inside was a flash drive. The moment I saw it, my hands started shaking. This is what your father wanted protected, Joseph said. He told me to release it only if Johnson tried to take the house. My chest tightened. My father knew. He knew this was coming. He knew someone would betray us. And that someone was his own brother. That evening, I gathered the entire family in the living room and Uncle Johnson himself. He showed up looking confident, relaxed, almost amused. He believed he had already won. I connected the flash drive to the television. The screen flickered. Then, my father's face appeared. The room went silent. My mother immediately burst into tears. My sister covered her mouth. For a moment, it felt like he was alive again. Then my father began to speak. If you're watching this, it means I was right. The room froze. My father's eyes looked directly into the camera. I am recording this because I no longer trust my brother Johnson. Uncle Johnson's smile disappeared. For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. My father continued. Over the last 2 years, Johnson has repeatedly tried to convince me to transfer ownership of the house to him. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The room was completely silent. I refused every time. My father's voice remained calm, but after my last hospitalization, strange things began happening. My heart pounded. Important documents disappeared. Bank records were accessed without my permission, and I discovered someone had attempted to forge my signature. A gasp spread through the room. Every eye turned toward Uncle Johnson. His face had gone pale. Then came the bombshell. The documents Johnson will eventually present are fake. The room erupted. People began shouting. My mother started crying harder. My cousins stared at Uncle Johnson in disbelief. But my father wasn't finished. The house was never the real target. Everything stopped. Even Uncle Johnson looked confused. My father leaned closer to the camera. Then my father revealed the secret that changed everything. For more than 15 years, he had quietly purchased land in different locations. Properties nobody knew existed, not even family members, not even me. The combined value was worth millions of dollars. My heart nearly exploded. The entire room sat frozen. But then came the biggest shock of all. The documents proving ownership have been entrusted to the only person I know Johnson would never suspect. I looked around the room. Everyone did, wondering who he meant. Then my father spoke the name. Ileana, my younger sister. The room exploded with confusion. My sister looked terrified. What? My mother stared at her. I stared at her. Even Uncle Johnson looked stunned. Tears filled my sister's eyes. Slowly, she stood up, then walked upstairs. Several minutes later, she returned, carrying a small wooden box. The same box my father had given her years earlier. A box she had never opened. Her hands trembled as she unlocked it. Inside were property deeds, bank records, land certificates, and a handwritten letter from my father. Every single document was authentic. Every single one. The evidence was overwhelming. Uncle Johnson's entire scheme collapsed instantly. The forged documents, the missing will, the stolen evidence. Everything began to unravel. Within weeks, authorities launched an investigation. Experts confirmed the signatures had been forged. The truth was finally exposed. Weeks later, Uncle Johnson was arrested for fraud and document forgery. The man who thought he had outsmarted everyone lost everything. But before I retired to my room, after the final hearing, I opened my father's last letter one more time. There was one sentence I would never forget. Never fear the people who attack you openly. Fear the people who smile while planning your downfall. And in that moment, I finally understood, and that warning stayed with me.